Hello there. Hello. It is me, your health coach, Callie. It's saying more light required, so I probably need to just wait until I get inside to do this video. But today I am going to talk about TDEEs and what that is. It's your total daily energy expenditure. Total daily energy expenditure. And I promised you all that are in the Shred Challenge this video. And so I wanted to be a woman of my word and make sure that no matter what, I actually did the video tonight so I could share with you. Despite it being a long day, I traveled for a few hours to my destination for a work event today. And now I am just ending for the day. But total daily energy expenditure. So, for those of you that are not familiar, total daily energy expenditure is basically the way you would calculate how much calories or how many calories you need in a day to be able to basically live, to be able to survive. That's your basic energy, basic calories that you need to be able to breathe, talk, brain energy, walk, sit in your car, drive, all those things that your body does in the course of a day. You know, the things that go on internally, your internal organs. Did you know that just your body's simple process of living requires calories? So you burn calories just by being you, just by surviving and being human. You're burning calories. So when it comes to your TDEEs, it is really important, especially during this challenge, for you to get very clear about how you're tracking your TDEEs, basically based on your body, your weight, and what it is that you're trying to accomplish. So we're going to go into this 2-week shred phase where we're trying to drop body weight and also build some muscle. Not a lot of muscle, y'all. So those of you that are afraid of lifting weights or resistance training, do not be, no need to be fearful of that. It will only help you in the long run with, stronger bones, just mobility, all kinds of things, and just being strong, period. So no worries about that. But with your TDEEs, what happens is when we actually calculate our TDEEs, most people don't track, right? How many of us are tracking our food calories and looking at the back of a package to see how many calories, how many carbs, proteins, and fats? So those are your macronutrients, right? Every food has a component of those three things. So carbs, protein, and fat. And we need those things to survive. But how many of us are actually tracking those things? Not very many of us, right? Most people are not, unless you are very serious or very strict about your food and your intake for health reasons, or you're competing for some, you're top of your game in tennis or basketball or golf or whatever it may be, bodybuilding, bikini competitions, that kind of thing. They really do track their total daily energy expenditure. So in order for you to drop weight, it's a very simple calculation. And the calculation is you want to make sure that the amount of calories that you're taking in is less than the amount of calories that you're actually burning. That's how you lose weight. It's a simple calculation. It's calories in versus calories out. But what we don't realize is that a lot of times we are taking in way more calories, consuming way more calories than what our body actually needs to thrive and survive. And not only that, if you're living a sedentary lifestyle, on top of it, you're not exercising like we used to do back in the day. We used to go outside and play. We used to, participate in sports. There were so many things that we used to do back in the day that we just don't do now as adults, right? So we're not out in the fields plowing. We're not, growing our own food in the garden. We're not walking to the local grocery store anymore. We're driving everywhere we go. We don't want to take the stairs. We park our car as close as possible to the Walmart when we need to go to the store. So there's so many things that we're not doing anymore that we used to do to be able to burn calories. So this is where your total daily energy expenditure comes into play. So I am going to share with you all how to calculate that in a very simple way. You can always use a TDEE calculator. You can find those things online. But again, it's going to take into account your current body weight. And it's also going to take into account, which is called your BMR. So it's your basal metabolic rate. So your BMR, basically how much exercise that you're getting in. So for all of y'all in this challenge, I want you to make sure that you choose light to moderate. Certainly don't choose heavy intensity, because I'm pretty sure most of us are not intensely working out. Even myself at this point, I'm not heavily intensely working out. So you would choose light to moderate exercise for this particular section, and then you would calculate how many calories it's going to take excuse me, for you to lose weight over these next 10 days. And I would encourage you to do it even longer than that, but for these particular purposes, for the next 10 days, you want to calculate how many calories it's going to take for you, X person, to be able to lose weight during this 10-day challenge. And really, guys, it is not as complicated as it sounds. Just think of it like this: it's calories in versus calories out. So am I consuming less than the calories that I am actually burning? Not consuming more than the calories that I'm burning. Okay, so think of it like that. I want to make sure that I'm consuming less calories and burning more, not consuming more calories and not burning anything. That's a no-no. That's a problem. That's how we gain weight. And the other thing I wanted to talk to you guys about, and I'll talk to you about this more. See, that's why it's so important for you to get into the challenge early, so that way you can get all of this great information that sets you up for success. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about is the importance of the different macronutrients. Now, for me, I'm going to give you my own experience, right? From my own experience, even though I've been on a plant-based diet, I have to watch the fat content of the food that I'm taking in. So when we look at our macronutrients, so our carbs, proteins, and fat, right? The other day I mentioned to you all that fat carries a caloric value, let's just say that, of 9. Okay, so a caloric value of 9. If you're consuming protein and carbohydrates, those carry a caloric value of 4. So what that means is when you're consuming fat comes from pastries, fat comes from added oils. If you're frying, chicken or fish, it comes from things like chips. It comes from processed food. Nuts and seeds, believe it or not, is high in fat. Avocado is high in fat. So even if you say, I'm only consuming, nuts and seeds all day, and I have this granola that I made up, you're getting fat from the oil that is being used to prepare the granola, unless you're preparing it yourself at home, and you're getting the fat from the different oil, so trans fats that they're using to prepare some of these pastries and things like that. So you're getting double what you would get if it was just a plain carb. So when I say a plain carb would be something like spinach or broccoli or, lettuce. Fruit is considered a carbohydrate. So for this purpose, there will be no nuts and seeds in our plan. Okay, just know that, because again, it takes a very small amount of snacking on nuts and seeds for us to start to gain weight or add that extra weight that we don't want to add. And then what does that do? That adds to your total daily intake of what? Carbs, proteins, and fats, and specifically in this case, fats. So it's going to contribute to you actually gaining weight. So that's what I figured out for myself when I was doing the bikini competition, that I needed to cut back. In fact, during that time, I can probably count on one hand the amount of time that I snacked on nuts and seeds, because I just knew how high in fat they were. And the other thing that's high in fat is if you consume, ice cream, Even some yogurts people think that are healthier for you, they could be high in fat and sugar content. So I want you to think about that as we go into this challenge. I am so excited for you guys. I know you can do it, but go online and you can look for a TDEE calculator and you can put in your information like that, and then I'm actually going to post something where you can actually do it by hand yourself, and this will work wonders in your life. And the other thing about tracking your food is that we so mindlessly eat, even if, like in my case, you know, I'm a nutrition coach, I'm a health coach, I've been doing this for a long time. You would think I would be very, very good at tracking and understanding the calories that I'm consuming. But we eat out, so we don't know what's being put in our food. A lot of times there's added things that we don't know. Man, one time I was watching one of those cooking shows and I was completely mortified. There was this restaurant that was featured on this particular show. Like, I'm digressing just a little bit. There was this, it was featured on this particular show, and on this particular show they were making some sweet potatoes. They were making, or yams, whatever you want to call them. They were making some yams. And this lady literally put a 5-pound bag of sugar into one big container of yams when she was cooking it. And she literally used probably 10 sticks of butter, which I think that equates to, like, I don't know how much butter that equates to, but it was a lot. Let's just say it was a lot. It was way too much. So I say that to say, again, you don't know what you're getting. So during this challenge, I'm going to give you some places that you could potentially buy your food, but I'm hoping that you join on this challenge to just kind of learn to even cook some simple meals at home that are lower in fat, that helps with our heart health. And then also, you know, some of the free foods that you can just really, really consume and not have to worry about how much you're eating, but still be full and satisfied. And I'm gonna teach you how to use some seasoning too. And also, I'm gonna teach you during this challenge how to cook once and eat 2 or 3 times. In my case, it may be cook once, eat 5 times, because that's just how I am. If it's something that I really like, I'll continue to eat it. So that's what I have to say about that. So mindlessly eating, I want you to think about that. So no more mindlessly eating, at least during this 10-day challenge, and you'll see a big difference. And then making sure that we're reading labels, we know what our calorie expenditure should be, and we want to make sure that we stay in a calorie deficit. Now, a calorie deficit does not mean starving yourself. So I want you guys to hear me and hear me clear. I'm not saying that you should starve yourself. That is not what I'm saying by any stretch of the imagination. But I am saying that I want you to be in a calorie deficit. So is that maybe having one less Starbucks? And Starbucks is not on the list of things that you can eat. But is it maybe having one less Starbucks, you know, during the day or for the week? Yes, because Starbucks, the calories are normally what, 500, 600, 700, 800 calories, depending upon what you're getting. Did y'all know that? Frappuccino, I think, is like 800 or 900 calories. Just with that alone, taking that out of your diet for 10 days will help with your waistline. Yes. Believe me when I tell you, just taking that out alone, or even fruit juices and, you know, sodas also will help decrease the amount of calories that you're taking in. So we'll talk about all these things. I want you to be successful. I know you will. I can't wait to see what your results are. And here is your message for tonight, talking about TDEEs and why it is important. Go find the TDEE calendar if you want, or you can wait for my way to do it by hand, and I'll share that in this post along with the video. So I hope you all had a magical, magnificent day, and I am so looking forward to working with you all and your success when we get ready to start on the 10th. Y'all have a wonderful night, and I will see you on the next video. Peace.